Welcome to the neighborhood, kids. It's raining again, just lightly. We've gotten about a half inch. This morning it rained and thundered like crazy. And we've gotten about a half inch of rain. And the dogs are enjoying cool weather. Pretty much staying on the porch. Mickey's out yonder. Just hanging out, I think. Come on, Mickey. And Sunshine's got to go check her spot. Squirrel out there once in a while. Actually, the rain's picked up a little bit since the day out here. He does. Can't see him that well in the picture. I can't at this point. Here he comes. What up, buddy? You gonna get wet out there? I was talking about Little Red yesterday. One of the other favorite horses, and I don't think I've talked about him, so I'm going to, so I'll get this out of my mind. Was a horse called Streak. A horse has a streak down the face, they get called Streak. That was his case. Always looking for a rainbow. Get out, top and fan. An honest to God old Coca-Cola bottle. These were bottled in Mexico, which means they use cane stuff instead of whatever it is that they use in the United States. You can taste the difference. They're that much better. Just barking. Why not? Dad would go to horse sales on a regular basis. He didn't buy horses very often, but if he could get a good deal, he'd buy one. It needed some extra work that was pretty darn cheap, and he'd bring that horse home and we'd work with it. The Streak was the opposite of buying. Streak was an ex rodeo horse. They paid Daddy $30, which was half a week's pay for some of us back then. Paid him $30 to get Streak out of the sale barn lots. And the reason was Streak was just meaner than a snake. Mr. Mickey here watching. Pay attention. Streak would paw at you, he'd kick at you, he'd bite you, he'd charge you, he'd try to trample you. He wanted you dead. He was that mean of a rodeo horse. And so the rodeos didn't even want him as mean and such a tough he was a good bucking horse, but he wasn't as good a bucking horse as he was just flat mean. He's out there. So we got him home. We just didn't have lots for working horses because we didn't have that many horses to work that often. So got a good halter on Streak, and then tied him out on a big oak tree. Tied him out about 15 feet from the tree on a long rope so that he'd have some freedom to run around a little bit. Lay down, move around. We fed him his feed trough and his water trough were out on the edge of the area that he'd get to so that you could get to. I'd get on one side with the feed and water. Daddy would get on the other side and distract him and get him to run out there where Dad was trying to get to Dad. And then I'd feed him and then I'd get out of there. And then me and Rodney would go out there and do kind of the same thing. We'd stand one on one side, one on the other, just to aggravate him, just from the standpoint of getting him used to people being out there and not being going to get him or anything. We worked with him probably 2 months, maybe 3 months before Daddy could even touch him. Then another 2 or 3 months later, Daddy could touch him all over the place, do whatever he wanted. And finally, the day came when we Daddy would put the saddle on and got where he'd accept the saddle. Then Daddy would stand up in the stirrup and stand up in the stirrup, stand up in the stirrup. And finally, Streak got used to that. And then we had an old mare called Red. Red was a little bit bigger than normal, although Streak was probably a hand taller and probably stouter than what she was. But Red's job was the snubbing horse. You'd snub the horse you're trying to break, the saddle horn on old Red, and then she'd give you a little bit more control, and then you could unwrap the rope if you needed to, and to get them loose. But all three of them handy here. So we snubbed Red up, snubbed Streak up to Red. Then my oldest brother Clark was on Red, and Dad was on Streak. And Dad got up on him, and Streak never bucked a lick. Dad told him to turn him loose, and Streak just walked off like he knew what he was doing. Never bucked a lick. You know, that horse, I don't remember him ever bucking. And a little that we had at the same time, he got the slobber hanging off his chin. He's wanting to bark at Sunshine just because she's there. He gets annoyed just because she's close to him. Where was I? He became one of the best horses I think we ever had. A few years later, when Red was about 10 years old, we sold her. Daddy sold her. He'd given like $30 for her, and he sold her 10 years later for like $400. That time, a $400 horse was like a $3,000 or $4,000 horse nowadays. Don't want to watch dogs poop, do we? I guess they're going to watch, but we're not going to. Sold her for $400. He couldn't pass up a deal like that. She was good at working cattle and a good roping horse. And Streak became Daddy's main thing. And Daddy rode Streak until he was 17, 18 years old. And he was a 3-year-old, I think, when we got him, 4-year-old maybe. And that's the only horse that Daddy ever turned out to pasture. Didn't sell him. Rode him until he just didn't feel comfortable riding him anymore. Streak had earned his keep and earned his final years. He lived another 3 or 4 years and then died up in the pasture. And Dad used to go up there and sit once in a while where Streak had died on the tank dam. And just heartbreaking. Dad wasn't a sentimental. I never saw him cry except for one time when one of his little dogs jumped out of the pickup and got ran over. He ran over him before he could get the pickup stopped. Dog door came open and the little pup jumped out. Anyway, Streak, Daddy would take him to the rodeos and ride him as it was small town rodeos around there, 200 or 300 people to rodeo and a few riders. And Daddy became one of the pickup men for a few years. And he'd ride Streak. Streak was probably a hand or two. A hand is 4 inches. He's probably 4 or 6 inches taller than the average horse. So Daddy had a little bit of a height advantage, and he could get in close. And Streak was powerful enough that the bucking horses didn't bother him. He'd get in there and get the cowboys off the bucking horses and help push the bulls out of their arena. But that old horse Streak was a really good horse with some good fond memories. That was long today. I hope y'all enjoy it. Like, share, comment. You ever had a horse or an animal, a pet that you really love? Oh, out there is Griffin, Katie, Bella, and Sam, all buried out there. And these 3 will be buried, and these will be the last big dogs I get. I hope I live, am still strong enough whenever they pass that I can go out there and dig the graves myself. Because I think if you're going to take care of a dog, you ought to take care of him from start to stop. He loves the rainwater. And that's where they'll wind up. In a few weeks, we'll have all this growing, and it won't look so redneck, I hope. If you're going to build a compost thing, hang on, let me zoom in. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever done. We got this new porch. When the boy finished with the porch, I told him, just leave those out there. I thought he knew that I was kidding. He was supposed to take care of them. Just leave those out there and I'll build something out of them. Well, I've built a few things out of them. That is a compost bin, and it's 24 inches across and about 8 feet long. And what good is a compost bin if you can't get in it and work it and easily and get stuff out of it? It's full of leaves right now, and it's got some good stuff in it. It's going to be good fertilizer from the front lawn later in the year. It's going to be compost for putting in flower beds, and we're going to have flowers all over the place out here in a couple of months. All these darn buckets here, uh, not buckets, I call them buckets. Planters are going to be full of flowers. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to plant gladiolas today. Anyway, I've said enough. Y'all like, share, comment, um, hit that notification button so that you don't miss out on any of these wonderful stories that I'm telling you. Y'all have a great day. Life is good.